Mr. Henry?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, great. My camera just broke, so I'm going to go off of this one here. Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Henry. I'm a parent in Glendale. I came today to comment on Glendale Unified's adoption of the Southern Poverty Law Center's social justice standards. First, if any parents, teachers, or community members would like to contact me, please email me directly at jddhenry@gmail.com. Please understand that I am arguing for political neutrality in schools. While neutrality is very difficult to achieve, perhaps nearly impossible, it should be the aspirational goal of all public educators, especially given board policy number 6144 on instruction of controversial issues. Also, I'm very happy to work with any member of the community, regardless of their political priors, in advocating for political neutrality in Glendale schools. As I stated in my last comments to the board on July 13th, Glendale Unified unanimously voted to adopt the SPLC's social justice standards, which will be applied to all K-12 core subjects, including English, history, science, and math. I urge the board today to cut all ties with the SPLC, because all roads within this framework lead back to radical Marxian critical theorists of various disciplines. Instead, please consider working with groups such as the Alliance for Constructive Ethnic Studies, which has developed a truly unbiased methodology for instruction of history, various cultures, and diverse viewpoints from around the world. I have spent considerable time reviewing the social justice standards, and today I would simply like to quote passages that are taken directly from the latest edition of Teaching Tolerance magazine. This is a teacher resource that Glendale Unified has officially sanctioned. The term white supremacy, for example, appears 60 times in this edition alone. Additionally, there are multiple explicit calls for teachers to adopt a lens of critical race theory. The following are direct quotes. "We're here to create better engaged citizens and humans of the world. It's a lot about interrogating and deconstructing the white Eurocentric norm of the classroom and expectations of education. That's what professional development is based on. That and building on background knowledge about critical race theory, intersectionality, and anti-racist theories. Next, educators need support in teacher preparation programs so they can push back against white supremacy in K-12 schools. A racial justice lens, such as one taught in critical race theory, would equip educators to recognize and interrupt racist curricula and practices and to explore critical consciousness. Next, one Black teacher said he learned to approach his work with a racial equity lens. It was gratifying, he said, to unpack critical race theory and racial consciousness as future Black teachers and school leaders. Next, teachers can allow students to apply critical lenses such as critical race theory and Marxist theory to reading news articles and to allow students to think more deeply about who is being most affected and why. Okay, the next quotations all come from a story within the magazine titled Mathematics in Context, the Pedagogy of Liberation. This is all about mathematics. Math, including math education, is absolutely political and has been used in violent ways to subjugate, harm, and even kill. Next, in Pedagogy of Freedom by Paulo Freire, this is the Marxian critical educator who quotes Marx, Lenin, Mao, Castro, Guevara. He describes radical love as quote-unquote armed love. Angela Davis, I'm still quoting, she is a known communist, argues that radical means grasping at the root. This is all about math. Next, educators start by acknowledging that we all lead very different racialized lives, and legacies of racism and white privilege permeate our work. Math. Next, for too many of our students, doing school mathematics consists of sitting silently, using algorithms that are foreign to them and solving problems irrelevant to their interests and experience. Their knowledge and perspectives are pushed to the margins, leaving them, especially students of color, silenced and misinformed. Next, too many remain silent in the face of injustice towards Black lives. Within the mathematics education community we call home, how often do we speak boldly for justice, but actually continue to inflict violence on Black lives? This is math. Next, as educators of color, we must unlearn our conditioning to hold space for whiteness. We must recognize the ways math education functions to destroy students' cultural identities. We must intentionally center folks of color and marginalized voices, and we do this daily work to bear this out in our lives and pedagogy. Finally, as the United States sees mass uprising against racial injustice and police brutality, we must center the mathematics of solidarity and challenge the mathematics of division. We need only to look to current and historical moments of strategic mathematical insurgence against structures of oppression as blueprints for liberatory mathematics education.
Thank you, Mr.
Please
Henry.
cut all ties with the Southern Poverty Law Center immediately.
Thank you, Mr. Henry.
This is my hope. Thank you so much.